Paralympic Powerlifting is a bench press competition. An athlete lies on their back on a specially designed bench. Powerlifters compete in 10 categories based on body weight. Open to male and female athletes with eligible physical impairments. But before entering in the world of competition, an athlete must be evaluated by a specialist designated by the governing body of this sport. This process is called classification. The purpose of classification is to allow athletes to compete fairly against each other. An athlete lies on their back on a specially designed bench. They must take hold of the bar in both hands, and the athlete must perform the lift after being given the start signal. This means the athlete must lower it to their chest, and then press it upwards to arm's length with locked elbows. Once the lift is being completed, then they will receive the rack signal and return the bar to the rack. The sport represents the ultimate test of upper body strength, with athletes competing in the bench press discipline. An athlete's head, trunk, including buttocks, legs and both heels must be in contact with the bench throughout the lift. Athletes can be strapped to the bench. Athletes are allowed to lift wearing an artificial limb. The athlete may request the help of the spotters when removing the bar from the racks. The spotter cannot help the athlete in any way to lift the weight. From the moment the referee gives the signal start, to the signal rack, the 3 referees will then indicate a successful or unsuccessful lift by illuminating white or red lights. Each athlete has 3 attempts to lift the heaviest weight in their body weight category. A 4th lift may also be attempted for a record. The ability of the elite powerlifters often lift more than 3 times their body weight. Major competitions include the Paralympic Games, which take place every 4 years, biennial World Championships, triennial Regional Championships and annual World Cup and Grand Prix events. Basic weightlifting dates back to prehistoric tribes, who used the lifting as a test of manhood, so to demonstrate the physical and bodily strength of a man or a woman. At the beginning of the 1940s, after Dr. Ludwig Goldman founded the National Spinal Cord Injury at Mandeville Stock Hospital, activities to build up strength were an integral component. It was seen that patients needed to be strong and physically fit to be independent in a world where wheelchairs were heavy, and the need to strengthen their muscles for the practice of their sport. Exercises included tossing and catching medicine balls, climbing ropes, and lifting weights. Weightlifting competitions soon became part of regular sports days within and between units. Powerlifting is the Paralympic equivalent of the Olympic sport of weightlifting. In 1964, weightlifting was introduced into the Paralympic Games in 4 classes: featherweight, lightweight, middleweight, and heavyweight, contested by male athletes with spinal cord injury. At the start of the Paralympic weightlifting, athletes performing a dead bench press in which the lift starts from the chest with no eccentric portion. In 1976, the number of body weight classes was expanded to 6 body weight classes. In 1980, separate weightlifting classes were introduced for amputee athletes and paraplegic athletes. In 1984, in New York, USA, the discipline known as powerlifting was added to the Paralympic program to include athletes with other disabilities. At the 1996 Paralympic Games, all eligible classes were integrated into powerlifting, which became the only Paralympic lifting sport. The first World Championships under the governance of World Para Powerlifting was held in Uppsala, Sweden, in 1994. World Para-Powerlifting acts as the international federation for the sport under the governance of the International Paralympic Committee. Events for women were introduced in Sydney 2000. The sport was widely practiced in all 5 continents. At the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games, history was made when Siam Andraman became the first Paralympian to lift over 300 kilograms. The Iranian eventually lifted 310 kilograms, equivalent to 2 baby elephants. Powerlifting is one of the Paralympic movement's fastest growing sports in terms of participants and is now practiced in nearly 105 countries. A discipline that began in 1964 with the participation of 18 athletes representing 10 countries, until the present day 2020 where there are approximately 105 countries, with more than 825 athletes classified, and with the statute of eligible for practice the para-powerlifting.
And it's good.